Hey guys, and welcome back to another video on the Robuilder YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make your avatar into a plushie. These can be for the UGC if you find someone to upload it for you, or just for yourself. Maybe you want to wear it in your own game. Maybe you want to give it to your friends. I don't know, whatever you want to do with it. But here is how to make your avatar a plushie. Now, I do want to make this as easy as possible for you guys. So what I'm going to do is make a base that'll be completely free for you guys to use. So the shape of the plushie, the arms, torso, legs, and head will already be done, and then I'm gonna make a template that you guys can follow in whatever program you have, whether that's Photoshop, Paint.net, Photopea, which is a Photoshop alternative. That's just like an online browser, you know. But I'm gonna make a base for you guys in 3D, and then I'm gonna make a 2D template outline for you guys, so it should hopefully be very, very easy for you guys to follow along and make your own plushie. But first things first, we need a base. Now, when we start any sort of a humanoid shape, we are going to want something to base it off of. So let's drag in this little dummy image, and it's not going to be the most accurate because this is at a bit of an angle, but we will still be a-okay. So to start things off, let's hop into edit mode and scale this down. Gonna bring it to the side just a little bit, grab our face select mode, go into wireframe to grab the bottom, and I'd say about this long. Now we have a leg. Let's duplicate that and move it to the other side. In fact, I'm just gonna rotate this 180 degrees. Now they're like perfectly lined up, almost, I guess. We're gonna gap those just a little bit. Now we're gonna duplicate this one, drag it up, go into our edit mode, click on this face, and we're gonna line that up with this other leg. Another thing that we're gonna do is grab this top, and then we're gonna scale it on the X-axis only to give it a little bit of a disproportional shape. It's super important for plushies to be a bit exaggerated in the proportions, aka a huge head on sort of a tiny body, and we need to avoid sharp edges at all costs, which we'll do here in just a second. But for now, we're gonna duplicate the leg, move that up to right here, and we're gonna make sure that is lined up real nice with this. And now we're going to do Shift D to duplicate and move it over here. We've got that little gap on both sides, and we can get rid of this guy because we don't need it anymore. We have sort of the shape. Now, one thing I want to do is grab all of this, go into edit mode, grab the bottom of the legs and the arms, and just drag them down a little. There we go. And now we just need a little cylinder. We're going to move this down to 10 sides just to make sure it is very easy for you guys to meet any vert requirements for UGC, if that's what you want to do with this. Let's scale the head down just a little bit, but I do want it probably pretty close to this big. Let's grab the top and the bottom face and do Control B to bevel. We'll add maybe one more, something like this, and then let's move the head up. This is a little bit too big. Let's grab just the top, move it down. Now, of course, these will be very easy to edit if you are not a fan of the proportions I make, but I do want to definitely give a good start. So let's do Shade Auto Smooth, and we are going to have to kick that up a bit. Is it 12 sides for the perfect smooth? 10 will be okay. Now, for the rest of these, I'm actually going to join them together, and we're going to add a bevel modifier. As you can see, we're starting to get a little more plush aesthetic. Now, I am going to make this 2 segments so it looks softer. If you guys do need to get rid of those, all you have to do is go on here, go to our line select, hold Alt and click, and you will be able to dissolve these. If you just click X and dissolve edges, if you need to do a little bit more optimization to fit if you have a ton of accessories. So here is the start of our plushie base. We need to give a little bit more life. So we're going to rotate this on the Y axis, and I'm going to do like a RY 10. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then on the other one, we're going to do RY negative 10. There we go. And those might be a little exaggerated. We should probably bring them back 5. So RY negative 5 and then RY 5. There we go. Just a little less exaggerated. And yes, I'm aware the torso is a bit small. I think it looks kind of cute. I will bring it down just a little bit because I feel like that's a very style choice that I've picked, and it won't suit a lot of you. So there we go. We have a nice soft plushie. Now, very easily, if you want to edit this by yourself, you can go into here, press Control R to loop cut, and then we could grab these like joints, or not joints. Let me just do this. Plus. There we go. And we could rotate these and kind of scale them around if you wanted bent arms, which I actually kind of like. So I'm going to do those as well. I actually really like that aesthetic. So I am gonna bend the arms. I just think it looks good. And most of the plushies on the catalog are just straight like this. So yeah, let's bend the arms a little bit. Not too much, just something. And then I guess let's angle the legs up just a little, add a loop cut in both of those as well, and bend them so it looks like it has knees. This will be the first thing to go if you guys are not able to meet vert requirements or something like that, but I do think it gives a lot more life to the plushie and overall just looks a lot better. Now, if we join all of this together, since I updated Blender, I can't see the things. I forgot where it's at. It's got to be in preferences somewhere. Wait a second. It is up here. Viewport, statistics. There we go. So with this whole mesh selected, aka your whole plushie, which can go up to 2,000 vertices, this has 388. Now, you can simplify this a little bit more if you want it to look a little less smooth, but I would definitely recommend simplifying your assets like your hairs, your hats, backpacks, whatever you have, instead of this mesh. So now that we have this, what's next is actually making the texture so we can make this gray plushie look like your avatar. To do that, the first thing you want to do is head into Roblox Studio. Now that we are in Studio, we're going to click on this avatar tab, go to Rig Builder, and you can just click My Avatar. R6 makes this a bit easier for me, at least. It kind of simplifies things. So I'm gonna click R6 and click My Avatar. And there we go. As you can see, I have a chain, a hat, and my clothing. All we're gonna do now is right click, export selection, and save it somewhere on our PC. Now that we have that saved somewhere on our PC, we're gonna go into whatever photo editing program we have. I'll be using Adobe Photoshop, but if you don't have this, go to www.photop.com, and it's pretty much the exact same thing as Photoshop, just a little simplified and free, but most of the steps should be the same. So we'll go on our computer and find the texture that came with our exported person. Mine is right here, and it's usually called handle something. Now we have this whole canvas of 1024 by 1024 to work with, so things we want to have more detail, we need to take up more space on the canvas. Now, of course, for my avatar, the hat is very important, and the chain is pretty important. The face, I have that 3D face, so it's kind of broken, but that would also be pretty important. In fact, I will do something that is a little strange. We're gonna grab our color picker, tie it to that, then we're gonna grab our paintbrush, add a new layer, scale this down quite a bit, bring the hardness up, and I'm gonna paint over all of this. Now, I'm gonna just grab a face out of my personal face pack. I think I wanna do a happy face. There we go. And let's see. This one is looking up pretty good to me, so I'm gonna delete those. Now I'm gonna grab this one and just drag it over and scale it down. So we're gonna have this as the face on our plushie. Now what we're gonna do is start working on this. Let's grab our rectangle tool, and this right here is the chain. So we're just gonna copy and paste that, and I want it to take up a bit more space on this canvas. Obviously, that's too much. It starts getting blurry. I think something like this, and I'm gonna do the same with the hats, and I only have one of those. I am gonna make that take up the same amount of room. So any accessories you have, you could line them up across the bottom. I have a chain, a hat. If you have that, maybe another hat or a hair, you could fit 1 to 2 more down here. Now what I'm gonna do is go back up here, and we no longer need these up here. So I'm going to delete those. Perfect. And another thing that you don't need in more than one spot is skin tone. So as you can see here, here, we'll actually keep the one on the arms. That'll be pretty helpful. But this, we don't need it. Now I think the easiest way to do this is just gonna be to copy this right here. We'll paste it right down here. In fact, we'll make it take up the same amount of space as our accessories, but we're just gonna put it in this corner over here. We can throw the face on top, pretty big. And then of course we want to cover this back up with our little painting. Now that we've done that, we're gonna move our outfit to the top layer, and we're just gonna scale that up until it takes up most of the canvas. Now we got something like this. Our 3 accessories, one of which is our face in this example, and then our clothing. Now all we have to do is export this as a PNG or a JPEG. Export as, and we'll do a JPEG for this instance. Now real quick, I'm gonna take a minute it to make this look more like a template for you guys to upload your own stuff onto it and less like my avatar since I've already saved it. All right, guys, so I've made a very simple thing. About this much of the canvas you will stretch your outfit to, and then here's 3 spots for accessories. If you have more accessories, you can make them a little smaller on the canvas. And if you have, for example, no clothing, some people just have like a purple body with white arms or something like that, your accessories can take up the whole canvas. This is definitely a recommendation, not a one-to-one follow, but this is what works for me. Now let's head back into Blender so I can show you guys how to put your new texture onto this base. All right, guys, back in Blender, it is indeed go time. If you remember the avatar that we exported earlier, well, we're gonna need that now. And I did forget to mention, when you are exporting, you should set the position of the avatar to 0, 0, 0, and then it'll spawn in the middle of your space. If you don't, like me, you can still import it. It's an OBJ, then you'll go find your file. Mine is right here, and make sure to check geometry, split by object, and split by group, and then import OBJ. Now you might be like, oh my gosh, it's not here. In my case, that's because we did not center it. So if we zoom all the way out, we can see it way over here. Now you can do it like this, or you could just click set origin, set geometry to origin, but I just moved the origin way over there. So I have to then move it back again, but you can completely avoid this problem and this problem if you just, you know, export it where it's supposed to be. Now, all I need is my accessories, which are here and here. I can delete the rest of this. Now, we are simply going to put this chain and this hat on the plush. Of course, we made things a bit oversized, so if we have to scale up the hat or the chain, we definitely can, and it will help with the aesthetic of the plushie. There we go. Not looking bad at all. We do need to, we gotta work on this hat a little bit. Bro got a big head. All right, we have super oversized the hat, and if we go onto this, it has a lot of vertices, as you can see, and the hat will too. So let's grab both of those, join them together, and then let's do M by distance first, and then X and limited dissolve. That does break a bit of the shading, so let's actually go back. Now, accessories are definitely what eats up most of the vert count, and they are pretty time consuming to get right, but there is a lot of things that we can get rid of. For example, all of these lines, and I'm not sure the quickest way to do it. Actually, yeah, limited dissolve. Just don't do the merge by distance, and that got rid of quite a bit of them. Now, of course, there's still a lot more we can do. We could even decimate if we wanted to. Right here, decimate, and I'd recommend doing 0.5 at a time. As you can see, for my objects, that is too much, but anything more than 0.5 is getting into some sketchy territory, okay? So we'll try 0.9. Still too much for my objects, so it looks like, unluckily for me, if I wanted this to be a UGC item, I will have to go by hand, which basically, hey, click this, dissolve edges, and keep finding places where you can dissolve or get rid of stuff. But also, luckily for me, I'm not making this UGC because I'm not in the program, so I'm not going to worry about doing the full optimizing thing right now. So we have all of this. We're going to Control J to join it all together, and this is looking pretty dang cute. Now what we need to do is go to our UV editing tab, click on open, and find that texture we made in Photoshop. And here we go. First things first, I'm going to grab just the face or the head, which you can use L to select link, and then I'm going to do U and project from view. Now all we have to do is grab the head, press G to move, and scale it up so it matches our face over here. Make sure it's not going off the canvas at all. Something like this does work. Now I just press Z, material preview, and we do need to also put the material on here. So go to this material tab, base color, image texture, and then just click on what we've made. Text.jpg is mine. Now as you can see, the head is good to go. Face is definitely a little big, but that's all right. Now for the torso, that's probably the next easiest part. We're gonna press L to select linked, and once again, U and project from view. Now, if we see over here, our torso is sideways, so we're gonna do R and 90 degrees, and then we're gonna move this on to where our torso is. That's looking pretty good. Now we're gonna grab these bottom lines and move them up, and we're gonna move these top ones down. And really, you just keep editing this over here until it looks right. So these will move back over because obviously this isn't our stylized look, I guess. So now we have this. I think I will move the base up just a little bit too. Something like that. And then we'll go to the back and click on the back. Let's go to our face select mode, plus. And now we will drag these down to go onto the back of this, this little jacket I have. Now, if we look at the torso, we have the back and the front. Now we do the same thing with the arm. I'm gonna go ahead, press on both of them, view, and project from view. I don't know why it projected that as well. There we go. And I'm gonna line both of these arms up, one on top of another, just so we don't have to do this step twice. Now I'll press A to select everything over here, R, 90, and we will line these up on one of the arms. If we look at my jacket, all of them are the same. Every side of the arm is the same, which is very lucky for us. We can scale this down just a little bit, bring it up, and as you can see, there we go. We have our arms, and yes, we will fix this face. If this happens to you, which it will, we've projected from view, just grab the faces that have the face on it, and we can go over here, S0, and there we go. Perfect. Now all that's left is the legs, and it's the same exact process, LL, U, project from view, and then we will stack them one on top of the other. If we do Alt R, I think it is. Maybe it doesn't work on this side, but we're gonna stack these on top of each other, and then we're gonna line them up with the legs. Now, the jeans do have quite a bit of differences on each side, so you will have to sort of grab each side of these. We need to scale this down a bit more, bring it down so we can see a bit of the shoe, something like that, and I'm gonna grab the tops and bring them down too. Now, I could keep it almost like this. I do want to grab the sides of the pants, press Ctrl plus one time, and then U and project those from view. Now we're going to do the same exact thing, just lining that up. And keep in mind, this does not have to be the same. If we want to change the angle and make things straight again, that is not a problem at all. Just bring them on. Let's say we want it right here, so we have a little bit of the back of the shoe. Let's bring that up a little bit. And now we have our plushie. We could also do the inner leg here if we wanted to. I guess I will. I'll grab those, do Ctrl plus one time, and then U, project from view, same thing, guys, R, 90 degrees, and it's just adding on to where it projects, I guess, in your image. So let's fix this and rotate that back. Let's drag it up. We'll scale all of this down some, and as you can see, we now have our very own plushie, guys. Look at this guy. That head is a little freaky, but hopefully this video did help you guys. If you would like the free base and template for this plushie, it will be on my website, first link down below, and click on the free tab. Anyways, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you did enjoy and you want to see more content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.